This week, tech designer Calix Reneau takes us on a tour of the updated Caterpillar white box in shipshape. Archivist Cherie Heiberg explores the Tamsa and Min systems in a 2-for-1 Loremaker's Guide to the Galaxy. And we continue our look at the continuing development of the pipe system in part 2 of the ATV Fast Forward. All this and more in this week's Around the Verse.
Intergalactic food delivery could be so dangerous. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Around the Verse, a weekly look into Star Citizen's development. I am Sandy Gardner, VP of Marketing.
I'm Ben Lesnick, Director of Community Engagement.
And he's back.
I am back. Hi everybody.
Yay, and is that a new shirt?
Yes, that is maybe a new shirt.
Who knew what you could buy on the East Coast?
But more importantly, I'd like to thank the Star Citizen community for all the support they gave me the last 2 weeks. Allie's father passed away, my father-in-law, and we had to head back east. It was very sad, but we just got love from just everywhere in the Star Citizen community. Folks sent flowers and best wishes, and it really meant a lot to me. Just genuinely thank you all. Of course, I want to thank the folks here who kept everything going without me. You see, I'm not necessary to the equation because Jared and Hennessy and everybody just did a fantastic job of keeping things going.
I'm not sure that's entirely true. We are happy to have you back. I think Jared was about to fall apart, but he's still just hanging on. So it is very nice to have you back.
I'm very happy to see you again.
Yeah.
And of course, I want to thank my folks who stepped in for me as co-host, Forrest and Jeremiah. You did a fantastic job. So much so that I couldn't tell you apart because I can't see the forest for the leaves.
Oh, no.
I'm back, baby.
Wow. I was thinking I need to make a pun, but I don't know if I can make one that bad. While you were away, Star Citizen Alpha 2.4 went out to the PTU, and our first wave of testers, the Evocati, are doing a terrific job providing bug reports.
I've heard great things. It sounds like that program's working really, really well.
Yeah, I think it is. I think all the reports are looking quite exciting.
There's been a lot of polish and bug fixing this past week, and the hope is that it'll be available very, very soon.
In other news, those of you who participated in the Prospectors Sale Create a Miner event received a $5 coupon last Friday. So if you haven't received that already, or you maybe didn't check your mail, go check it out.
And that $5 coupon is our way of apologizing for taking so long to award the winners of the contest. Some of you may have heard there were 35,000 entries, and we don't want to leave anybody out. So Jared, myself, Tyler, Sandy, everybody has been looking through your pirate stories, or your Starfarer stories, and there's some great ones in there, and we will be announcing the winner on Friday on RTV.
And we've got something new coming to the Play Store that you could also use the $5 coupon on, which is the Drake Buccaneer concept sale for $110 on May 27.
You got all the details, so there's nothing else for me to say. The Drake Buccaneer is our kind of second take on the Cutlass idea. It's the more maneuverable, less cargo-oriented pirate ship. Planned to be around the same size and scale, so we're really looking forward to adding that to the lineup. Everybody loves Drake ships, and I think Jim Martin, who did the concept for this one, really knocked it out of the park. We cannot wait to show it to you.
And let's not forget our subscribers. What is this month's subscriber flare, Ben?
This is a space plant month, and specifically, this is a space cactus month. So check out the space cactus. That will be available in your hangars as soon as 2.4 goes live.
Cool. Do I have to water it? No.
No, because it's a cactus.
That's true. You don't really, well, still, once a month maybe? No, I guess not. And I saw you were recently featured in GameStar magazine. Very exciting.
Yes, this month, GameStar magazine has the first part of a retrospective on Wing Commander. That's the largest gaming magazine in Europe. You can pick it up in Germany or other German-speaking countries. And then this next month, will go on the stands at the end of May. There'll be a second part to that, as well as an interview with me. So,
cool. Very cool. From time to time, we like to highlight one of our fan-created events. And recently, members of the Merc organization had their first big gathering, about 70 people.
Looks like a fun group. Here's some of their photos.
With that, now let's check in with our studios from around the world and see what's happening in news from around the verse.
Hey everyone, my name is Randy Vasquez. We're coming from Los Angeles, and this is
Eric Link.
nice. Eric's new here actually. This is your second, third day maybe?
Second day.
Nice, second day. So we always like the new people. So what are you doing for us?
I'll be basically I'm the technical animator or associate technical animator, and I'll basically be implementing animations in the CryEngine and assist motion capture shoots.
Nice. Who you gonna be working with?
I'll be working with Sean Tracy and Mark.
Nice, Mark McCall. Nice, good peoples. So in the news, real quick to recap, we have 2.4 working really hard for on the engineering team. I know Gage has been working on a lot of bugs also for like the clothing and so that's probably working with them because like all the rigging and everything like that's going into that and animations and everything. Some of the artists working on the Caterpillar still, they're doing a lot of work on that. It looks amazing. Can't wait for you guys to actually see it. And then clothing, which I just mentioned with Gage working on, and a few other people working on. Garbox actually can be helping out with some of the environment concepts. And item 2.0, which is a big thing that we can't wait to show you guys, even though it's really back end, but hopefully we'll be able to talk about item 2.0 and everything that entails soon. And we'll have something on that. And of course, here with Eric, and we'll see you guys in the verse. Take it easy, guys.
Hey guys, Jake Ross here, producer of the Austin Studio, and I'm here with you this week to talk a little bit about what's going on here in Austin. I wanted to first talk about a little bit of 2.4 stuff. We're updating the inspect weapon animations. We have a shop in 2.4.0 called Cubby Blast on ArcCorp, and then Livewire Weapons on Port Olisar. And these shops are where you go and buy your weapons, your personal weapons. So when you go into the shops, you're able to actually play an inspect animation, so you can kind of see what you're buying before you purchase it. But the weapons that we had in there, they weren't really doing it for us. They were a little strange, and the camera was moving around a lot of like what we had with the original release of the emotes. So we went ahead and went in there and updated those animations. Now they're a lot better, and they kind of fit more with what we were going for. So we've updated those animations. Those will be in the game soon. We wanted to get the shopping experience as polished as it can be before we put it out to you guys. So there's that. On the persistent side, we're now able to support rentals and promotions. So before we had persistent items that persisted. Go figure. And we didn't really have an elegant way to handle things like rental items or promotions like a free fly weekend or things like that. So we kind of revamped the way we were doing that and handling that. So now we're able to better handle more temporary things that aren't supposed to be persistent over long periods of time. So that work was done on the back end by Jason Ely. So and it's in the game now. So handling rentals and promotions a little bit better, which is good. Lastly, looking ahead to future releases, we're looking at some more shops, not for ArcCorp and not for Port OSR, but for a new space station that will be sort of a pirate-based space station. So this space station will be more for the kind of the outlaws and things like that. But even outlaws like to buy things. So we have shops there in the works for this new station, and it'll have different shops that'll be able to sell different things. You'll probably see some more kind of outlaw armor types and some pirate clothing and more weapons and things like that. So we're trying to get you guys to travel to different areas and give you incentives to go hang out at different places, and we'll have a wide variety of things in the PU. So this is the first steps is getting shopping out to you guys, first release, and then after that we'll look to put even more content out there to get you guys flying around the verse. So yeah, that's all I got for you this week, guys. Thanks. I'll see you around.
Hi everyone, this is Mickey over in the UK. Today I've got Stefan Alstrom with me, who is a senior VFX artist here at Foundry 42, and he's going to be showing us what he's been working on.
Yeah, I've been working on weapon VFX, mainly for the S5 bearing cannon. It's a laser thingy, and then Eamon Reed's company has a really cool plasma shotgun thing.
So we're going to have a look.
Yeah. So this is the bearing laser cannon, a really big gun. It's a Starfire Gemini thing that it's shooting from, the top turret.
You can tell by the recoil, it's
so
very powerful.
Yeah, those guns are huge. And this is the Eamon Reed's company scatter gun. So it shoots like 8 projectiles, sort of a shotgun style thing. They're going to be more visible in the future after we solve a certain bug.
But very magical.
Yeah, almost like a unicorn fart, don't it? But and I put them on a saber ship just to see how it would look like on a ship. Disclaimer here, because I don't know if they actually will go on a saber.
Well, if they did, then this
we
is
can
what
hope.
it would look like.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the latest.
That's cool. So what is the future plan for these things?
Yeah, projectile impacts. So when the weapon hits different surfaces, say we want to have different effects for water and snow, glass, dirt, everything like that, and even different metal types, because the more detailed you can be, the more immersive it is. You don't want to see the same hit effect every time you shoot something. So I have a lot of work to do there, but we have a great system in the works for that. So yeah, it's going to be great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all we've got time for. So we'll see you in the verse.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone, Brian Chambers from the Frankfurt office. This week I have a little bit of a cold, so bear with me if I sound funny. Digging in straight to the team. On the engine side, good progress on procedural planets. We say that all the time, but we'll continue to keep working on it. But honestly, we've made some really good progress. On there, looking at a render node for the planet, plus perspective render elements, shader separation for planet terrain, to simplify it so we only use what we need when we need it. Keeps things optimized. Also just general bug fixes and optimization that'll be going on a regular basis. We started on areas, tags, and zone system work to help kind of quantify that and compartmentalize that a bit more. Shader compilation fixes. We continued with some track view editor stuff for the cinematics guys. That's starting to wind down because we're getting it pretty much where we need. Local physics grid work, specifically stuff on the Starfarer. There's some issues there that the physics guys are looking into. Continuing on also physics with EVA. Found some issues there that we're sorting out and think we've sorted those out. And we're also making progress on water and different water direction for planets, which is cool. I don't think you guys have seen much of that yet on water, but it's what we're showing internally right now is pretty cool. Weapons, we finished off a new one that we're currently calling a scatter gun. We addressed feedback on existing railgun, and we had a new member join the team. So that took some of the guys down to help get him on board. Weapons team now is up to 4 guys, which is great. AI, continue working on subsumption. They had a lot of discussions on the subsumption editor. Really, what do you need there to be able to give the designers and so on all the detail that's needed to create the proper behaviors, considering all the careers and everything that we want. Enter zone, exit zone signals for that, implemented those. Removed, went up and did some general cleanup. We had some unused Lua and AI data and stuff that was in there, so took another day or so, a couple guys to dig through and just make sure we pulled out everything that's not needed anymore. In that process also, defining some of the scripting standards that we are using, that way just everybody's on the same page and everything's unified. I'm sure there's a few other things, but those were the high level. And on the cinematic side, cinematic team all last week and this week is at a mocap shoot up in Ealing Studios. All the reports we've gotten back so far that, the shoot's been going pretty good data. It's been fun working with the talent and so on. So they're getting everything they need for Squadron. So we look forward to those guys coming back and seeing what they pulled off. So thanks again, and appreciate all the support, and talk to you next week. Ciao.
So I hear we're building out the Drake Caterpillar.
Where'd you hear that?
I'm an important person. I hear things.
Well, you're right. The team here is currently working on the Drake Caterpillar.
Yay. And in fact, tech designer Calix Reneau sat down with our community manager, Jared Huckabee, to explore the new white boxing in the Caterpillar in a new episode of Ship Shape. Let's check it out.
Just says do something. Okay.
You mean?
Yours is better than mine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ship Shape. I'm your host, Community Manager Jared Huckabee, and with me in this episode is Designer Extraordinaire. What is just Designer Extraordinaire?
Technical designer
Is that
here.
what it officially is now?
Yeah.
Technical Designer Extraordinaire, Mr. Calix Reneau. Calix, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Now, we are doing our first Ship Shape revisiting. We're going back and taking another look at the Caterpillar white box phase.
Yeah.
Now, we did a Ship Shape with designer Randy Vasquez quite a while back when the Caterpillar had its first set of white boxing. As is often in the case in game development, things change, requirements alter and stuff like that. And so Calix has been tasked with re-white boxing the Caterpillar. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So the work that Randy did really laid out the groundwork for deciding a lot of the broad strokes design decisions about where the Caterpillar is going to fit in the broader universe and where it's going to be, like how we're going to build out our art for it. This white box is more about nailing down the specifics of both the space that you're moving through, the functionality of that, how we feel about just how it feels to walk through this ship.
Right.
And I mean that's the thing that I think was most exciting about it, is walking through this ship and sort of feeling it out.
Yeah, because I mean, no amount of effort, time spent can get you ready for that time when you have to actually get inside and you actually have to walk through and go from station to station and stuff, and then you start realizing, oh, okay, our scale was a little off here. We didn't quite, we need a little bit more in this area, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've had the opportunity to go through and try some things. We've changed some of the things because you run into these realities that it's not it's not nice to move through this space, or this thing is going to collide with that thing. So when you actually try it out, it helps sort of illuminate these issues. And so we've had the opportunity to go back and revisit it. And I've also had the opportunity to try out some new things and sort of see where it's going to fit into our future developments.
All right. So we're in CryEngine now, and the Caterpillar's looking great here. I mean, the fidelity in this is just mwah.
This is what PC gaming allows. Really, is the opportunity to. There's engines back here. That's what those are supposed to be. All right, so and the Freelancer is for scale.
Yes, and I see bits of a Hornet down at the bottom.
The Hornet is here to explode.
Okay.
It will do that shortly.
All right, so let's take a look through the internal white boxing of the Caterpillar.
Shall we go into game now? Or
sure.
I'd like to start off here in the habitation area. Switching to game, feeling like a person, walking around. You can come into, so far we're only dealing with the cargo module. So all of these bits are in various stages of white box mock-up. And so we've built it out, like there's what it looks like when you've got a pretty good haul, and this is what it looks like when you're empty. And this is how it is when you're completely full. And be walking through and
what size cargo units are these? Are these 1 SCU?
Yeah, each one of these is 1 SCU. I do not offhand remember the final number that the Caterpillar gets. It's, I think with all the elements that are carved out for this catwalk over here, for each space individually, I think it comes out to something like, is it 90 or is it 120?
Not a final number.
We're gonna
not a final number.
We're gonna deal with that. But if you load it up completely, you have a fair amount of cargo at your disposal.
Okay. So this is an empty cargo module here, and notice there's a catwalk on one side.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have the ability to come over here and open it up.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of cool.
Now the original white box in the Randy did had the catwalk rather through the center.
Yeah. One of the reasons that we wanted to switch it up, we felt that, in the context of eventually having firefights in this thing, it was nicer having split level here rather than having a thing over you. You do lose a small amount of cargo to get this space, but it feels a lot better having the bulkhead here. Mm-hmm. It just feels better, really.
I think it also plays into the asymmetry of the ship, though.
Yeah.
It's just about everything I've seen of the ship, screams that asymmetry. So having the raised catwalk on one side, goes along with that.
Having some movement issues. Every once in a while I get stuck. That's fun. We have, did I put it here? Yeah. So both sides do open. I have a little rail.
Nice.
But I fell off anyway.
All right, so for these cargo modules, and the standard Caterpillar has 4 modules that can be swapped out.
Yeah.
Right. So you unload and load from each individual module off to the side.
Yeah. And you'll probably be doing it from that side. Your tractor beam's over there, but you have the capacity to go through this way. Here's one short mock-up of the. We're starting to implement or think about terminals. Mm-hmm. And some of the more ambient interactions with your ship of, I walk through here and I want to know what's in this space, and this thing should tell me, and I should be able to interact with this and find out what those things are. This would be repeated throughout each of them, but I only put it into this one. And we have, double doors opening up between everything.
Okay. And that's because the modules can be separated.
Yeah. So. There's no guarantee there's another thing on this side. And I'm getting stuck again. So you've put components in every single one of these. And in this case, we've placed them above where you're going to be able to deploy them out to bring them down for physical repair. You'll be able to reach into this and swap out, do whatever welding or what have you If there's something to swap out, you'll be doing it there.
I'm such a homer. You see me tilt my head like I'm trying to look under it. I have no 3D goggles on.
And come up to the front, and we have that leads up to a turret, which is only mocked up here. And then we have door controls. But let's go down.
Now, what's
there
on the other
first.
side of the clear? Is that a window?
That was a window.
Okay.
Sort of leading you to the front of the caterpillar, the nose here. This space has various uses, not all of which I think are cleared for discussion. But generally, we want another terminal here to tell you the state of this room. There will be some cargo plates so that you can you could potentially use this for doing deals. You could potentially use this for egress, all manner of things. But if we had the cargo in there,
Yeah. And that was the frontmost space
Yeah.
with the door that opened up.
yeah. So in front here is where that freelancer was, and so we can open up the doors. That is not how these doors open. We've had this white box is an exploration, right? So we put things in here to be like, oh, how does this work? How does this look? This is not like we have taken this further now. This is actually has already received review. We've already had notes on this. This isn't its final form, and so that's among the things that will be changing is the way that this opens. But we have the atmosphere shield, which is another thing that we're playing around with. You'll have turned that off, but nothing happened because we'll let the atmosphere rebuild. If I turn off the cargo locks first, then it still doesn't happen because it's broken, because I'm faking it. But I had it. It was really cool, you guys. I had it sucking the cargo out into space, and now it's someone else's problem.
That's all right. We'll see if we can't get some video of that and put it here as if it were happening live.
And then I won't admit that it failed. So we have these sections will be sort of explored individually as we build out each of the interactions that we want for the various modules that can go here. The cargo one, it was chosen because it's relatively simple, so we've basically seen all it has to offer.
If you take a look in our April monthly report, you'll see some concept work for the habitat, one of the habitat modules.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And the habitation, this room. So exploring things like having life support here, having it open out so you can access this for repair. Having armory with this is where you're going to store your replace meatballs.
Most dangerous weapon in all of Star Citizen.
That's right. And I got to have a lot of fun with the elevator here.
Nice.
Drake only uses the most sensible of deployment methods.
Yeah, they're a very pragmatic
Yeah.
organization.
Why wouldn't you have a weird robot arm? Oh, clipping.
All right, cut this. Fast forward to this.
Yeah.
Never show this part again.
All right. And we head back to the engine room. And we have engines. You can see them here.
Clearly labeled as heavy engines.
Well, you want to know where they are.
Yep.
Really.
White boxing ain't sexy, guys.
You'll have all your shield generators,
Sexy.
ammo, fuel. Here's your engineering terminal. Get to be surrounded by all the muck. I've always been a fan of this haunted turret here. No floor. Yeah. So I also, this is where I started mocking up the actual interaction for the terminals. So one of the features is a better example of this. Let's go to the better example. just run right past that. You'll see it. You'll see it.
That was cool looking.
So I took the one that was down there, brought it up here, and fleshed it out a bit. So one of the things that you'll notice is that we have this neat parallax effect where the cursor does not stay in the center of the screen. Part of the reason for that is because if it did, if you just look at the center of the screen, and I moved that over there, now I can't see half the terminal.
Yeah.
Which makes it really sort of awkward. But when I don't have to do that, when I can access the entire screen this way, and we have we've figured out some pretty cool stuff. You know, it's an ambient interaction. You walk up to it and play around. You walk away. It's done. But one of the things that is kind of cool is that the system works in such a way that it always endeavors to keep the cursor on the screen, and I've gone ahead and found one of the weak points because, again, this isn't actually coded up. This is us doing a mock-up, but you'll be able to view a terminal from any angle, and it sort of naturally draws, even if you start off over here, just through interaction, you'll end up looking at the majority of the terminal having it on screen if you're interacting with it. But there's nothing stopping you from looking away. You can always, you can have as much or as little interaction with these as you want. You'll be able to interact with it and bring up a model of the ship, having the map, getting information there, playing around with setting messages. But that being able to set things to leave ambiently in your ship really make it yours. We have.
What is this area here that we're in right now?
We're currently in the command module, which is the detaching escape pod type thing. It's also the bridge of the ship. You can kind of see it. I don't have it in it right now, but standing next to it, it's not given the layout of the ship. It's actually not that bad of a view. Like we don't we were able to raise it up to have it prevent it from occluding the majority of your view. So it's not actually that bad. You do have to be careful because you're not at the center of mass. So when you're rotated, it'll be a different experience, but the view should be just fine. It comes with the turrets, and you'll be able to have co-pilot and tactics officer, sensors, all that stuff.
I can't help but notice there's a ladder down in the command module here.
Yeah.
Is the command module 2 floors now?
Command module is 2 floors. Yeah. With its little habitat area, another life support, the showers. You have foot lockers. You'll have storage space. You'll have the command module's own engineering room with its own engineering station. Because this thing can just leave, so you're going to have to repair it someday, and come over and repair the engines. Yeah.
I want to start a Drake Caterpillar command module racing league.
I'm not here to stop you. And trying out various things like it's a little hard to see. Let's see if nope. There we go. That's me. I'm the gold ball. Let's see if I can. So it's one of the cool things is that you'll be able to register people and have them actually see people moving around your ship and
this looks like we have control of the bulkheads too.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go over and you can manipulate it from the terminal. You'll be able to open and close the doors, which is all the way over there. But is definitely happening.
Right.
We're too slow for it, though.
That's right. Yeah, you have to explain to us what the squiggly ball thing was that we're in here.
This deal?
'Cause that's all people are going to be wondering about.
Okay, so this is your tractor beam, and this is a mock-up of. Oh, hey!
It's lost some cargo.
It did work. I told you it worked.
I never doubted you.
That's the cargo I threw out earlier. It's stuck in a little gravity well. A gravity well like that might be how you manipulate the tractor beam. It might not. We're still, you might pushing and pulling and doing things like that. But this is the control reticle that I would be pushing around and forget what keys I used to move that around. But basically set up a little thing to tell you exactly where it is in space and see it relative to your ship. I did not, however, make it so you could turn that off, so when you leave, it's still there.
This is a good chance to remind folks that this was for an internal, proof of concept and whatnot. It is not designed to be shown externally. This is one of those things that we do that most other companies wouldn't. But
yeah,
we know you guys like to see things in their earliest state, in their roughest state, so we take the opportunities when we can to show you warts and all.
Yeah. We have the avionics room, the server room, power plant room. I have the jump drive and coolers and some more of the engines here, and so double-decker engineering bay. Pretty nice stuff. Is there anything else that was rad?
Probably. I love Drake though.
Yeah.
I'm a pragmatic guy, so I like the pragmatic. I'm also a big fan of the used future. I'm much more a Blade Runner guy than a Minority Report guy. So Drake, the Drake aesthetic in general really speaks to me.
Yeah, and I like, having made this space walkable and interactive. I like the degree to which I feel like I can just reach out and touch the ship, and how it feels, even with nothing in it. To me, this feels lived in. This feels like a real meaningful space. So I like, and the ladder here just leads back down to engineering.
Cool. Well,
and, the haunted turret. But
right. I think that's pretty much it for this. Calix, thanks for taking the time to
my pleasure.
Show us some work. Of course, the Caterpillar has already iterated past this. Like I said, the front doors have changed, whatnot, and we've begun not only concepting the different modules and inner workings, we've even begun building some of the modules. I've seen Elwin has already built out most of one of the habitat modules.
Yep.
So Drake Caterpillar is in progress. It's on its way. We hope you enjoy these early looks like this. And it's been Shipshape for Shipshape Drake Caterpillar 2.
Thank you.
I'm Jared. That's
Calix.
Calix.
Bye.
Finger guns.
MISC freelancer. Built for life.
Now, over the last few years, Orgin has become more known for looking fast than any sort of actual speed. Take the 300i. A ship that brags about its extra comfy beds isn't exactly what you want when you're looking for a racer. However, all is not lost. Orgin has just written us an apology letter. Meet the new M50. Space. The best ships gracefully dance across its expanse. the worst clumsily plod across its face. The new M50 doesn't have time for any of that. Instead, it simply slices its way through. The 2944 M50 was designed with one goal in mind: make the ship that will win the next Murray Cup. The surprising thing is, Origin may have just about done it. The stats are an orgy of mind-bending numbers, but it comes down to two things: less weight and more power. You'll notice that the nose cone has grown what I can only describe as a moustache, added to stabilise all the additional thrust that the retooled and updated twin hammer HM 4.3 drives spew out. And the refinement doesn't stop there. They've narrowed the front fuselage, moved the wings forward for better balance, shaved the cockpit view pane down to the thinnest it could still be, and not shatter in your face. The result? A pure flying machine. Each movement on the stick translates directly into unadulterated throttle action. Welcome back to the glory days of flying. That's all well and good, but when you're talking about a racing machine, at the end of the day, you really have to, well, race it. And who better to prove the M50's mettle than the last Origin ship to actually manage a cup win, the 350R. Piloting the 350R is Galactic Gear's very own two-time cup holder, Timo Bakshi. Flying the M50, an incredible man who, for some inconceivable reason, has never won a single Murray Cup. Me. This, my friends, is going to be good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I keep trying to push the limits, but I can't find the limits! Origin, you hear me? Apology accepted! Apology accepted!
Welcome to another segment of Loremaker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you are unfamiliar with this, this is a look at the Star Citizen universe. A member of the lore team goes through a system, we discuss science and story ideas, and we talk about the direction we want systems to go, so that they will one day be available for you, the player, in exquisite space detail. So today, we have Earth right here. There it is, very shiny. We're going to do Tamsa. So let's go. Tamsa is the only known system that has a black hole at the center. Now, a black hole is a region of space-time that exhibits strong gravitational effects and nothing can escape from inside it, which includes light, electromagnetic radiation, particles, Big Benny's machines, potatoes, photons, that kind of thing. So we got a little corona of captured light here that Turbulent created, which I think looks pretty cool, honestly. So Tamsa was discovered in 2943 by Banu explorer Kofi Bet Thelma, and they named the system after a math artist called Tamsa Wheel, like that's her art name that she picked for herself. Her art has been described as mathematical poetry. It has also been described as a beautiful precision of, a beautiful nexus of precision and chaos. That's what the critic said. Yeah. And I think that's pretty appropriate for a system with a black hole in the center. Now, back to black holes. I used to think that black holes were kind of scary. I thought they were cosmic vacuums that would one day suck up the entire universe and we would all die crushed in really strong gravity and we would but that's not what black holes are, and that's not how they work. You can sort of think of them as super dense zombie stars. They are no longer stars. They're the remnants of a dead star. At least the stellar black holes are. And they have very, very, very strong gravity, but they're not going to suck up the whole universe. They have stable points at which celestial bodies can exist and can orbit in a regular manner, just like planets orbit our sun. Unless you go past the event horizon here, which is basically the point beyond which you can't escape the black hole and you are doomed to get sucked in and just stay there and possibly view the birth and death of the universe through time dilation. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't do it though. So black holes that are formed, in case you don't know, they're formed through the gravitational collapse of massive stars. Like this one was once a type O star, which is a blue giant star. Once the mass of the star collapses after it burns through its fuel and the star's temperature isn't high enough to prevent it from imploding under its own weight, the mass basically condenses into this tiny, 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 tiny thing that we've never seen, really, but we know exists and creates these gravitational time-space anomalies, which are super cool. Black holes are way more complex than I can describe at this time. There's a book I've been thinking about reading called Black Holes and Time Warps by Kip Thorne. It looks cool. I think that would satisfy my black hole knowledge-seeking desires. So, as I said, this is a planetary system. Tamsa 1 is way out here. It is a Chthonian planet. I don't think we've discussed Chthonian planets yet. They are essentially the remains of the cores of gas giants. The atmosphere of the gas giant was stripped away through hydrodynamic escape, and it left just this super dense core that's probably rich in metals and minerals and would be, oh man, so cool. I wonder what we could mine there. However, Tamsa is still off limits because it's being assessed by the Fair Chance Act. It was discovered pretty recently, 2943. So, once the Fair Chance Act concludes that maybe life isn't developing in a black hole system, maybe mining rights can be explored, which I think would be pretty cool. And now, it's not the only planet in the system. There is one more if we zoom way out, Tamsa 2. Over here. It's a gas giant. It's about the size of Jupiter, as you can't see because it's not to scale. But what I mean is about the mass of Jupiter. It has a thick atmosphere and a dense core. And like its planetary sibling over here, Tamsa 1, it was a rogue planet. These are both rogue planets that were captured by the gravity of the black hole. Now, Tamsa 1 was probably ejected from its system in a nova-like event, which probably contributed to it losing all of its atmosphere. Tamsa 2, however, was ejected from its system through means unknown because it still retains its atmosphere. We don't know yet. Scientists in the universe are still trying to figure out exactly why it still has its atmosphere, where it came from, and only time will tell, figuring out what became of this planet system. Now, since Tamsa is so small, even though it's super, super interesting, I think that we do have time today to do one more system, which is another really interesting system. It's called Min. This one is a rogue planet, much like the rogue planets that were captured by Tamsa. It was ejected from its system through means unknown, and it's just kind of tearing its way through space with 4 moons that it's picked up in its journey. It was discovered at 2473 in an unlikely nexus of jump points, which is, let's see, how many jump points are in this system? We have 2 jump points, which is just wild because it's a planet. Like most jump points that we know of converge around stars. No one knows why this planet has picked up jump points. It's a cool science mystery of the Star Citizen universe. So its Jupiter mass, same as Tamsa 2. It generates its own heat, much like our planet, our gas giant Jupiter does, through the Kelvin-Helmholtz mechanism, which means as the surface of the planet cools, the pressure on the planet drops, and the surface shrinks, which in turn heats the core of the planet. It's like somewhere in the 600K range. Science. Its first moon right here, Min 1A, is an uninhabited rocky moon that has been strip mined a long time ago. There aren't any resources available. No one is sure whether it formed with the accretion disk that created Min 1 or whether it was just picked up in Min's journey through space. Could be an interesting question to answer. Min 1B is one of the most interesting moons in space, in my opinion. It, against all odds, is somewhat inhabitable because it has an incredible amount of geothermal energy that makes liquid water available on its surface. Now, it is still really cold, and it's not ideal for human habitation, but a couple of settlements have, in fact, been built up here. What's putting those settlements into jeopardy is the recent discovery of bioluminescent bacteria on the bottom of the ocean that clusters around the hydrothermal vents that help heat the planet. And so there is currently a debate going on about whether or not to apply the Fair Chance Act to this system. Cynics say that the reason that it hasn't been done yet is that there really aren't any valuable resources here since the whole system was strip mined ages and ages ago. So people are like, oh, well, the government's not going to want to invest money in assessing this system because why would they? What money do they stand to make? So might be bad for the bacteria on Min B. However, there are still some scientists there researching it, so they'll find out more about it in time, one hopes. Min 1C is very much like Min 1A. It is the smallest of Min's moons. Uninhabited, rocky, totally strip mined, very small. And where are you, Min 1D? I know I saw you somewhere. There you are. This guy is another tiny baby moon. It's not as small as a lot of the others. It's smaller than 1B, but it's bigger than 1C. It's pretty, it's an alright place. It's covered with impact craters. So if anybody wanted to know much about the history of the system, they could probably do some digging into the impact craters and figure some stuff out geologically. Which I think would be awesome. So, there we go. That's Min. Unlikely nexus of 2 jump points, rogue planet with moons tearing throughout the system. Just being interesting in space with its cool, inhabitable, barely inhabitable moon. So that is it for this week's Loremaker's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this incredibly science-y tour of 2 of the most interesting small systems in the verse. Goodbye.
Hey there, Tyler Witkin, Community Manager in the Austin, Texas studio, here to bring you this week's MVP. But before we do that, I gotta say, you guys keep making it harder and harder on me to choose just one MVP a week. And I wanted to take this time to clear something up. MVP is not an award just for content submitted in the last week. There's no time frame for it. So if you submitted content this week and you didn't get MVP, you're not out of the running just quite yet. But for this week, a big congratulations to Acno Reborn for his video teaser titled Ghost Strike. The combination of voice acting, editing, and music is enough to give you chills and leave you craving for more. So a big congratulations to you, Acno. Keep them coming. You're this week's MVP. Back to you guys.
Cool. I look forward to seeing the full production when it's ready.
Yeah, it's amazing these people can get together and make these professional quality movies just because they love something so much. It's always inspirational.
And finally, each week we take a look at something still in development for Star Citizen's future. It's time for ATV's Fast Forward.
Be sure to tune in to Reverse the Verse tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific on Twitch. We'll be answering your questions about that Fast Forward and all other aspects of Star Citizen's development. And I'll be there, so it'll be better.
Mm-hmm. And you have to ask if they like us, because if you do like us, you can hit subscribe below to all of our social channels.
Yay!
Yay! And with that, thank you to all of our subscribers, as always, to making this show possible. We'll see you next week on Around the Verse.
But you know what? We should also mention that you're taking a little trip.
I am taking a little trip. I am going to the UK to do some exciting secret squirrel things.
So Sandy won't be here to host next week, and we will miss her a great deal. In fact, I think we're also going to miss your birthday.
I know. I'm actually going to take my first holiday. Yes.
So,
I'm going to take a couple of days where you guys are going to run the show.
Will,
yes.
It's not going to go well.
They're going to go, yeah.
But happy birthday.
Thank you. Early happy birthday.
Early happy birthday.
We'll see you next week on Around the Verse. Did you know that many of Star Citizen's developers are on social media? If you would like to follow Star Citizen on Facebook, you can find us here.
Or on Twitter, here.
And even Instagram, here.
And for a full list of developers' personal accounts they're willing to share with the community, check out this link. You can find out what I bought at Amazon this week.
Star Wars stuff.
It was probably Star Wars stuff.